With the pilots keeping the aircraft steady, the 20 SBS operators fast roped down from the Merlins and onto the decks of the ship.
Alright y'all, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out a video that was on my recommendations list for a very long time and must have been on my list for, I don't know, 5-6 months at least. So I did the video recently with the SBS retaking the Nave Andromeda, which is like a shipping vessel. So this is Operation Buckthorn, which is very similar to what happened with that as far as UK Special Forces recapturing a shipping vessel. So another awesome recommendation and another solid operation by UK Special Forces. It just kind of made sense to follow up my Nave Andromeda video with this one. So I'm excited to check it out. I know, again, you guys have been recommending this prior to my Nave Andromeda reaction, but again, it just made sense to follow that video up with this one. Now, I don't normally do sponsorships or anything like that, but someone reached out to me. His name is Al. He's actually a prior British combat engineer and bomb disposal. He's also the one that sent me this awesome merch design. So he reached out and told me about this charity thing he's trying to do with his buddy. His buddy's name is Steven, also prior bomb disposal. And Steven runs a charity called Africa Can You Make a Difference, which is an extremely clever name, I gotta say. And what that charity does is they help kids in Kenya to get out of poverty and just assist them with their standard of living and everything like that, to try and assist them to get out of poverty, which is a really solid cause. So Al reached out to me and told me about what he's trying to do with Steven. Now they basically came together to commission this artwork so they could sell it on their website, which is called Sapper Prints. I'll put a link down in the video description. But on this website, they sell prints of that artwork that they commissioned, and you can get it in various different sizes and all that good stuff. A lot of cool designs, and basically the proceeds for those prints go towards that charity that Steven is running. So a really awesome cause. Again, I do highly recommend you guys go and check it out. Even if you weren't, an engineer, combat engineer, or bomb disposal or anything like that, I think you guys will definitely appreciate it. And again, it is getting closer to Christmas, so if you guys are feeling in the giving mood, you can go out there and support them. Again, I like to donate and stuff, but actually starting your own charity and going out to Africa and all that good stuff to raise all this money, that's a really awesome and noble cause. So please go and support them out. Again, I'll put the link down in the video description. At the end of this video, I'll put like their promo video that they sent me, and it's really awesome. So I recommend you guys sticking around to check that out. And I'll also put up their I think it's like a GIF, but I'll try and put that up somewhere in the video so you guys can check that out. It's like their little Christmas promo. Really cool cause. Again, I hope you guys can go and appreciate them and what they're doing and go support them. But yeah, let's get into this video. Operation Buckthorn. So again, this is about the UK Special Forces recapturing a shipping vessel. So we saw it with the Nave Andromeda. They did a really good job. So let's see how they did in December of 2018. Classic. Never get tired of that intro. Okay, Operation Buckthorn.
In December 2018, an event took place just off the coast of Britain that, surprisingly, went largely under the radar. It all started on the 10th of December 2018 when the Italian cargo ship Grande Tima departed the Nigerian port of Lagos for the British port of Tilbury in East London.
Okay, so already we're seeing a lot of similarities as far as what we saw with the Nave Andromeda. So similar routes, kind of similar routes. And then also, I think the Nave Andromeda was also an Italian shipping vessel. I could be wrong on that, and feel free to fact check me. I do appreciate you guys constantly putting me in check and correcting what I say during the video. I try and do it myself if I can Google it real quickly, but again, I'll leave a lot of that up for you guys because you know a lot more than I do, and sometimes you know a lot more than Google does. But we're seeing a lot of similarities. Hopefully these guys were a little bit smarter and not doing it, right by where the SBS actually stay and lay their heads at.
7-man crew, the voyage was like most others, until it began navigating its way into the Thames estuary off the coast of Margate on the 21st of December.
Okay, by Margate.
At approximately 09:15, British authorities received a mayday call from the ship, and were notified that 4 men had seized control over the vessel.
Okay, so I guess these guys were like
stowaways too? 4 men snuck
too?
aboard the ship shortly before its departure from Nigeria, and appearing from the onboard cargo, armed with whatever objects they could find, They demanded that the captain steer the Glandead Teamer towards the British coastline. The captain refused the demand and was able to lock himself and the other 26 members of his crew into a room on board the ship.
Hell yeah. Okay.
From where they were.
Again, very similar to what we saw. They weren't trying to let them, just do whatever they want, take that ship and go wherever. So they locked themselves in place. So very similar to what we saw at the Nave Andromeda. Yeah, I appreciate the captains of these vessels really holding it down and be like, bro, you have like a hammer, you have like a stick or something. Like, we're just gonna lock the door. It's really not that big of a deal. We'll let the SBS and the SAS, we'll let the Special Forces guys come and take care of you guys if you really want to cause a ruckus.
Able to keep in contact with the British authorities. It was not long before news of the situation reached the Ministry of Defence, who authorised the dispatch of 4 men of the SAS to the scene from their garrison in Herefordshire.
Hell yeah. All right, here we go.
A small group operating under the call sign of Titan 21 flew to the Dover Coast Guard Operations Centre on board a 658 Squadron Army Air Corps Dolphin helicopter.
Nice.
Arriving in the afternoon of the 21st.
That's clean.
Here they were briefed on the situation and acted as the forward observers for the UK Special Forces. Simultaneously, the MOD began moving a response group forward to the scene in the event that military intervention was required.
Yeah, they're moving quickly.
This group began its move forward just after midday when 4 Royal Navy helicopters took off from RNAS Wilton in Somerset.
Okay.
The helicopters flew southeast to Poole, where they embarked 20 men of X Squadron, the Special Boat Service.
There we go.
From Poole, the task force then moved to Manston in the southeast of England, from where they established a forward operating base in anticipation for the green light to go in.
Okay, I'm learning a lot more about British and UK geography through these videos because I'm learning where the cities are and everything. But yeah, these guys are mobilizing extremely quickly. If you see like an issue like this come up, you can just rally everyone, get the Royal Navy helicopters together to give them a lift. And yeah, it's problem solved. It's like a super easy day. And again, these guys have a pretty solid track record, so it's a solid go-to to mobilize these guys. But it's cool seeing the SAS and the SBS work together. So they're saying, I guess the SAS were kind of like the forward observers. So I'm not sure if they're going to be the ones actually going in and taking down the vessel. I'm sure the SBS will be a little bit more specialized as far as naval operations or maritime operations as far as boarding the ships. But let's see how it all goes down.
Until that was authorised, however, negotiations continued with the hijackers, who navigated the Grand Teamer around in circles throughout the afternoon and into the evening. Eventually, after 12 hours, the situation reached a critical point, and Prime Minister Theresa May gave the green light for a military operation, codenamed Operation Buckthorn.
Oh, it's near Christmas time too, I noticed that. It's a good Christmas present for them.
Equipped with their rifles and night vision goggles, the 20 men from X Squadron began boarding their awaiting Royal Navy helicopters at approximately 22:30. The helicopter force operated under the call sign of Renegade and consisted of 2 Wildcat and 2 Merlin helicopters.
Okay. I've not seen those
previously. The Wildcats
previously.
came from 815 Naval Air Squadron and operated under the call signs of Renegade 1 and 2. Their role was to escort the Merlins throughout the duration of Buckthorn. The Merlin helicopters, meanwhile, were from 845 Naval Air Squadron and were designated Renegade 3 and 4.
Okay.
It was
I like the call signs, I gotta say.
Special Boat Service operators to and from the objective.
All right, here we go. It's about to go
The force took
down.
off from Manston at 22:45 on the 21st of December and began flying across the Thames estuary where they could see the Grand Teamer on the horizon. Flying into the target area, the Wildcat.
So I've heard, just going completely off topic, I've heard that Margate's actually like a pretty beautiful area. At least I heard that on like the Triforce podcast or something like that, if you guys listen to that. But I've heard that it's a pretty solid looking area. So I can just picture these guys on the shipping vessel just seeing like Margate, and they're seeing land, and they're getting like really hopeful that what they're about to get is actually what they want. And then you just see these helicopters with these freaking SBS guys just coming over the horizon, and yeah, these guys aren't feeling too good right now.
Cats detached from the main body and began circling the cargo ship.
Oh, scary.
Meanwhile, Renegades 3 and 4 made their final approach to the target before hovering above the vessel's main section.
Hell yeah.
The exact timings of this phase of the operation are unclear, but as we can see from this image capture, Renegade 3 was above the Grand Teamer at 11:26 PM.
Hell yeah.
With the pilots keeping the aircraft steady, the 20 SBS operators fast roped down from the Merlins and onto the decks of the ship.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we saw those other two helicopters, Renegade 1 and 2, were pulling security. I imagine that's what they were doing. So yeah, once you have like that security set and you have the other guys moving in to fast rope, it's like an easy day. If anyone tries getting like fishy or doing anything crazy, you have those security aircraft, or even sometimes you could have like security boats to take care of that. But yeah, for these guys, it's just an easy day. They're pulling security, they're going in, they're fast roping in, and then they pretty much know exactly where they're going because they did all the planning. They probably know the exact layout of the ship. So I'm sure it was also very, very quick operation.
Forming up into their respective teams, the SBS began sweeping through the Gland Timor before reaching the bridge of the ship. Forcing their way into the cabin, the operators found the hijackers, who immediately surrendered upon seeing the British troops.
Oh, no surprise there.
End to Operation Buckthorn, just 5 minutes after it had started.
Oh man, so it was quicker than the Nave Andromeda then. Dang.
With the cargo ship under control, arrangements were made for it to continue the final leg of its journey to Tilbury, where it finally moored up in the early morning hours of the 22nd of December.
Exciting voyage.
Having accomplished their mission, the 20 operators from X Squadron re-embarked onto their Merlin helicopters and were flown back to their garrison near Poole, as silently and swiftly as they had arrived on the scene.
Go and drink some tea, I'm sure. Another job well done. So a lot of people were telling me that, sometimes people try and do this just so they can try and gain like citizenship or like a refugee status. I'm not really sure the politics or stipulations with that kind of stuff, but good grief. I'm sure the SBS, SAS guys must be getting tired of just going and, clearing out these shipping vessels. Maybe not, honestly. I'm sure it's probably actually a lot of fun for these guys. But, man, you can imagine they probably get, kind of bummed out when it's not as exciting. And these guys really don't have the mettle to back up what they're actually doing. So, yeah, they're going in. It's an easy day. They're going to surrender immediately because they don't have any weapons or anything. They're pretty much just stowaways. And, so now they're on trial. So, again, I don't know the politics. I don't like to really get into the politics of what their intentions were or whatever, but you can imagine if someone's just stowing away and they're trying to like scare people, then there's got to be a reason for it. And if you're just going to be scaring people and not really trying to hurt anybody, you're probably not going to get a whole lot out of it besides these SBS guys coming and just rolling you up. But I love hearing these it's not like a totally exciting operation, but it's just awesome seeing all these elements come together and just, take down these guys. And again, 5 minutes. I think the Nave Andromeda was like 7 minutes or something like that. So super easy. Again, these guys are extremely highly trained. They know the layout of everything and they know exactly what they're doing. So once they mobilize, they get there. It's an easy day. So it's just awesome to see. I love just seeing like the professionalism and the efficiency of how these guys operate and how they get together and mobilize with like the Royal Navy aircraft. And they just go in and bang this out super easily. It's awesome to hear about, and I'm sure it's extremely encouraging for people who actually live in the United Kingdom to hear about these SBS and SAS operators just going and doing this in 5 minutes. So yeah, it must have been cool. And if you're able to see it from the coast, that's also pretty exciting. Of course, you're not going to be seeing like flashbangs and tracers going all over the place or anything like that, luckily. But I'm sure it's exciting, especially just seeing those awesome helicopters flying around. But yeah, awesome recommendation. I'm glad I was able to finally check this one out. Again, liveth forevermore. He always does amazing content, so it's awesome to check this stuff out. And again, I'm sure that it's relatively accurate. You can see he does his research as far as getting like the exact times and everything. And that's just cool to sort of picture the layouts. And again, when you hear it just took 5 minutes, then it just goes to show that their planning was pretty much top notch and probably just on point with what they normally do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's any other operations like this or I'm not sure if this happens a lot because this was in December 2018. The Nave Andromeda was like last month. So I'm not sure if this happens too much, but if you have any other operations like this, definitely shoot them my way. If there's any cool videos you want to recommend, you can put those down in the comments section. Again, I will put the link to the Sapper Prints website down below if you guys want to go and support them. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys watching and supporting the channel. Again, after this little outro, I'll post like their promo video. So if you guys want to stick around, an ad might come up because for some reason an ad usually comes up right before my outro, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, just power through that ad so you can see the promo if there is an ad. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you again for supporting the channel. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was another awesome one. Thank you, Liveth Forevermore, for releasing the awesome content. Again, thank y'all for watching. That is it for this video, so we'll see y'all in the next one. Alright y'all, so I'm filming this after the fact, but I just got this print delivered to me, which is awesome timing. So I just want to show you this print real quick. So this is one of the prints that you can get off of the Sapper Prints website. So I'll just give you a little bit of close-up so you can see how much detail actually went into all of this. So if you're an engineer, if you're like a sapper, you might understand some of these historical references. But yeah, just look at the small details that went into this. Really, really awesome piece of art. So yeah, that's just one of the many prints. Again, I'm going to post the like the advertisement at the end so you guys can get a better idea of all the prints that are available on the Sapper Prints website. So yeah, I just want to show you guys this. This is an awesome little representation. You can get them a little bit bigger if you want, but I think this is a pretty good size just to show all the awesome detail put into it. So yeah, good timing. Hopefully you guys can appreciate this little close-up view of one of the prints you can get.